If flip-flopping and chasing were a sport, I think Dan Ives would be in contention for an Olympic medal. Before we get to these recent comments where Dan says that Tesla is entering a golden era, let's read the alleged justification for this new $500 price target for Tesla stock. Dan Ives saying, quote, "We believe FSD penetration could increase to 50+% and change the financial model and margins for Tesla looking ahead." Now, just to be clear, jumping in, I agree with this, although we've known FSD was coming for some time, so probably would have made sense to do the modelling as soon as possible to understand the potential value well ahead of time, as opposed to a matter of days potentially before the first Robotaxi start rolling out in Austin via a software update and a few Tesla Model Ys. But hey, maybe we can give Dan a pass on this. It continues, taking a step back. Over the last decade, we have never viewed Tesla simply as a car company. Instead, we have always viewed Musk and Tesla as a leading disruptive technology global player, and the first part of this grand strategic vision has taken shape over the past 5 years. Now it's on to the next chapter, autonomous. We believe Tesla remains the most undervalued AI play in the market today. Now on this again, I do have to agree. I mean, there may be others that I don't know of, but I definitely don't think investors are appreciating even 10% of Tesla's real long-term value based on what it's doing with AI, their unassailable data lead in autonomy, the huge progress that's happening with the Optimus humanoid robot, and the massive scale of that project as well. Rome was not built in a day, and neither will Tesla's autonomous and robotics strategic vision. There will be many setbacks, but given its unmatched scale and scope globally, we believe Tesla has the opportunity to own the autonomous market and down the road license its technology to other auto players both in the US and around the globe. So I've got to take a moment here. On these points, I also agree. You might have heard me say at least 6 septillion times over the last almost 6 years that Tesla has an unassailable data lead. What they've done with autonomy, no one else has done. No one's even trying. They're going to scale massively. People don't get it, blah, blah, blah. Hence owning the autonomous market. And you'll also recall that the very first time I published my Tesla valuation model back in 2021 to my Patreon subscribers, Tesla licensing FSD in the future was already an assumption. A few years later, we heard that Tesla had had a discussion with a large traditional automotive manufacturer on FSD licensing, and subsequent to that, we've heard there have been multiple discussions with multiple auto manufacturers. So these things are true, but they've also been extremely obvious for literal years. And finally, the note continues, Waymo will also be a winner, lol, and Uber will benefit in autonomous. Oh shit. Yeah, don't agree here. But we see the true autonomous winner as Tesla, and over the coming year, more investors will recognize this AI vision. So maybe there's more to the note. I saw this posted on X. I am a little puzzled how they've gone from a $350 price target to $500. The only tangible number here is FSD penetration increasing to 50% or more. A little bit puzzled here. Did Wedbush only just figure out that as FSD becomes increasingly capable and then becomes legally unsupervised, so you can literally go to sleep in your vehicle and turn up at your destination, that might add more value and more people might actually buy or subscribe? Wow. Now, I'm not trying to be too much of a dickhead here, but I will happily take this opportunity to be a massive dickhead here because it's necessary. Back in April of this year, by the way, just to be clear, I'm currently recording this in May. Not good at counting here, but let's go backwards here. January, February, March, April, May. So May comes after April. And if it's May now, that means April was last month. Okay, so last month, Wedbush analyst Dan Ives lowered his Tesla price target to $315, previously $550. Hold up, hang on. Am I hallucinating? 2025, April, price target $315, down from $550. Then next month, after going $315, then gently bumping it slightly, soon after to $350, definitely not just to appear in the media to discuss a new price target so he can do more commissions because that's how he actually earns his income. Goes $315, then slightly higher to $350, and then $500. Now, this is really quite something. So let's see what Dan had to say back then with the reduction from $550 to $315, all the way back in April, last fucking month. Quote, our long-standing bull view of Tesla remains, but there is no denying this is a pivotal moment of truth for Musk to turn things around, or darker days are ahead. We've been one of the biggest supporters of Musk and Tesla over the last decade, but this situation is not sustainable and the brand of Tesla is suffering by the day as a political symbol. Musk has been with his back against the wall many times, and every time Tesla came out of it and was stronger on the other side. This may be one of his biggest challenges yet to turn around. We are lowering our price target from $550 to $315 to reflect these new softer demand estimates. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, man. Now, look, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. I mean, you already know, just in case you knew or an infrequent viewer. The way that Dan earns money is by bringing business to his firm, not by being right or accurately estimating the value of companies. If I were in Dan's shoes, his fresh sneakers in fluoro pink, no doubt, and my goal was to maximize my income, I would cover the most popular and controversial stocks, and I would do whatever it took to appear as often as possible on as many outlets as possible discussing my price targets on these extremely popular stocks. I'd probably also dress in such a way that people would frequently comment on my appearance, my attire, in a way that drew viewers' attention. Much like a YouTuber might dye their hair fluoro green because they figure, hey, if I look like a fucking retard, maybe they'll click on my video. By the way, not hating, it's a viable strategy. Or a YouTuber might take thumbnails that looks like somebody's violently inserted a pineapple into their anus before the photo was shot. Again, not hating, it's effective. Looking like a retard in your thumbnails works. I might try to cultivate an appearance that in and of itself would bring people to watch my content just to hear what I had to say because I look interesting. And then I would probably maximize the number of times I could increase or decrease the price target on one of these extremely popular stocks simply so that I could appear in the media discussing the change to my price target. And importantly, I would also play as many sides as possible, sometimes going against the grain, because then the coverage is this outrageous bull, he just said blah, blah, blah. How deluded. But I would also play into some of the fake news narratives. For example, let's just say hypothetically I were covering Tesla, most popular retail stock of all time, and I wanted to appear on some of the extremely left-leaning media that were currently suggesting that Elon was destroying Tesla, Elon bad, Orange Man bad, etc. I might even suggest that they were right in saying that Elon's destroying Tesla's brand and sales are collapsing and he's turned consumers off Tesla simply so they'd invite me on. Now, I'm not saying that this is what Dan's doing, but I am saying that if I were in Dan's shoes and I was trying to maximize the income from commissions, from bringing business, I would try and get as much attention as possible, and that's how I do it. Now, obviously, there's other reasons for why Dan in April had a massive reduction in price target from 550 to 315. That's now suddenly back at 500. That had nothing at all to do with maximizing coverage and or commissions. I don't know what they are. Actually, I do know what they are because they were thoroughly explained in these clear notes. Now, I do have a funny feeling back in April when I saw this massive price target decrease from 550 to 315 on Tesla stock, and the rationale that Teslas had become a political symbol, which is what the fake news wanted you to believe, even though it's completely false. As I said at the time, repeatedly, this was only true among a very small number of deranged, left-hearted NPCs, most of which can't actually afford to buy a vehicle, period, so they're irrelevant, not even part of the conversation. But the narrative from the media was every single person buying a Tesla now is doing so because it says something about their political beliefs, and therefore, if you think Orange Man bad or Elon bad, you won't buy a Tesla. So I have a feeling I may have actually commented on this at the time, knowing full well that I'd be digging the same comment up soon after. So let's see if I'm right. Did I? Oh yes, what do we fucking know? I commented with LOL. It's almost like I knew I'd be digging this up and laughing at this slip-flopping from Dan Ives. And let me be clear, I'm no hater. Dan's playing the game exceptionally well. I mean, I'm covering his content, right? There'll be some people watching this going, this fucking dickhead swears too much. I hate him. Dan's awesome. I'm going to go contact his firm. And so, like, even me covering this is going to be effective, right? Dan and his strategically chosen outfit here, having his head in the media once again, has got to be earning an absolute packet in commissions. Strategically, Dan is killing it. Respect. But it's important that I make it clear that I personally believe that Dan is more likely doing and saying what he believes is necessary to continue to appear in the media as often as possible, as opposed to having a long-term, clear, strategic valuation model built for Tesla and making adjustments when new material information becomes available that would meaningfully affect that actual valuation model. What happened to a reduction in demand in April, therefore reducing price target from 550 to 315? Did that magically somehow completely disappear? Did the demand magically come back, or was there in fact not a meaningful reduction in demand in the first place? And the new update for the new target, which is a little bit less than it was last month, based on, well, the only actual number that I saw there was a meaningful increase in the take rate on FSD over time, which are no shit, Sherlock. Hello, obviously, as it becomes more capable and it eventually goes over that massive milestone of becoming unsupervised. Obviously, more people will want FSD when FSD can do more things and add more value. So that's not new information. So I'm a little bit confused. How do we... Oh, well, I'm not really confused. I told you why I'm not confused. But I guess what I'm saying is take what Dan has to say with a gigantic grain of salt. Some may call me cynical. Others might call me on point. But this was a clip of Dan just a couple of days ago before the price target increase, but after the price target decrease last month. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Dan had to say. And again, like, if you understand the guy's strategy here, he's great. He's got his little catchphrases. They always look good in a video title. He looks like this. It's very clickable, very discussable. The guy's definitely a workhorse. He's working hard for his commissions. But it's very difficult if I continue to try and dig beneath the surface when I hear Dan making comments about Tesla. Very rarely do I hear anything substantive or material. I mean, I truly would love to see the Wedbush Tesla valuation model. If anyone has a copy, get in my DMs on X. I really mean this, by the way. If anyone can get me in touch, get me a copy. I'd love to see it, assuming one actually exists. Now, before we watch this short clip, I do just want to refresh everybody's memory. Some folks may suggest I'm being a little bit unreasonable, but I do just want to point to literally the exact moment that we saw the 550 price target on Tesla stock slash to 315. These are Australian dates, by the way. And that was Tesla stock at $233.29 per share, 7th of April, having collapsed approximately 50% from mid-December of 24. So in just a few months, the stock's down about 50%. And then miraculously, the Wedbush price target on Tesla stock is cut by approximately 50%. And subsequent to that price target being decreased, Tesla stock, over the same time frame that we've had a $315 per share price target on Tesla, slashed from 550. That 315 then bounced to 350 soon after and is now at 500, and Tesla stock over that exact same time frame up about 45%. So let's see if we can hear any clues as to material shifts in Tesla's business in the days prior to this massive price target increase following the massive price target decrease last month.
Dan, do they have an operational problem or a reputational issue? And how easy is it going to be to fix?
I mean, I think it's a big step forward that we saw from the earnings call from the Musk recommitting to Tesla. And I think these interviews that we saw yesterday, it's another huge step forward because to me, you're talking about with NVIDIA, two of the biggest disruptive technology players in the world in terms of autonomous and Optimus. So I don't, look, I view it, is there some brand damage? We've said there is, but I don't view it as something that it really changes the game going forward. And I think now the
Wait. Some brand damage, yes, but not really something that changes the game going forward. Hang on. But price target was cut approximately in half from 550 to 315. And the key quotes here were that the brand of Tesla was suffering by the day as a political symbol. And apparently the key reason for the massive reduction in the price target was softer demand estimates. And again, in April, literally last fucking month, bruv. So, I mean, if I was to distill this price target decrease, roughly halving, meaningful sustained brand damage and reduced demand as a result, moving forward, cutting our price target in half from 550 to 315, and now apparently brand damage, quote unquote, minimal, no meaningful impact. Boy, oh boy, a lot can happen in a few weeks.
demand starts to rebound in Europe, demand starts to rebound in China, and Musk is Tesla, Tesla is Musk. Tesla got back its biggest asset, doubling down here.
So Dan, does that mean when Elon Musk said yesterday as to how he would turn around the company, and he said, oh, it's already turned around, that you would agree with that?
I would. I mean, look, we've talked about on the show. I mean, it was a dark period when he was a Doge. We went through that. He ultimately was a fork in the road. Clock struck midnight. He picked Tesla. And now I believe.
So I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. As a special government employee, Elon Musk was only able to work a certain number of years, period, in his role. And inevitably, and obviously, as I said at the time and prior to Doge, the guys are going to be sleeping on the couch there for a while, getting things humming along, and then step back to a much more part-time and temporary role. This is inevitable from day one. It's not like Musk decided, oh, well, gee, I've suddenly decided I'm not going to spend as much time focused on Doge now versus when we first began operating Doge because Tesla investors need me back. I mean, we saw the exact same shit happen when he acquired Twitter. Working like an absolute fucking psychopath initially, getting things humming, building the teams, the procedures, and then easing out. Surely no reasonable person thought that Musk would have put the same amount of attention and time and energy into Doge every single day for the 4 years of Trump's term that was putting it in at the very beginning. No one reasonable would have thought this, right? So the only natural assumption is it's going to be heavily front-loaded, the time and the energy, get things humming, and then chill the fuck out. This is being presented from Dan as almost like it's a revelation, like Elon just magically decided to change his mind. In the US, a special government employee, which describes Musk, can work 130 days per 365 days per year. Trump's inauguration was the 20th of January. As I've said, I'm not a math genius, but let's do some rough math here. It's just after the 20th of May now, meaning roughly 4 months, just over 4 months since Elon Musk began working as a special government employee with a limit of 130 days out of a year. When this segment went to air with Dan Ives, more than 120 days had passed since Trump's inauguration. I mean, hello?
I believe that path to 2 trillion market cap is on the table because of autonomous and robotics. And I just believe now you'll still have some chop in terms of demand in near term. But I think overall, this is going to be a golden era for Tesla.
Golden era for Tesla. Says the same guy who literally last month slashed the price target from 550 to 315 because Tesla's brand was suffering unsustainably as a political symbol and something softer demand.
Dan, there'd also been this bull case after the Trump election, why you saw Tesla surge so much. And that bull case went something along the lines of easier regulation for Tesla, that he had the ear of President Trump. If we are seeing Elon Musk starting to pull back, not spending as much in DC, not as present with Doge, does some of that need to be priced out as well then?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. I mean, obviously, Doge took on a life of its own. I think Musk recognized that in terms of some of the brand damage, which is ultimately why he had to leave Trump White House. But in terms...
Dude, face palming so hard here. We've been over this. Special government employee, maximum 130 days per year. In addition, what do you think is going to happen when Musk starts a new project? He's going to be balls to the fucking wall, non-stop, barely sleeping, absolutely relentless initially. Set up the systems, the procedures, the processes, hire the talent, get things humming, and then step back and then go, oh shit, I've got a bit more time. Let's find a new project to go ballistic on.
I do believe you are going to have less regulation. I think the pathway to autonomous is going to be there on level 4, not just for Tesla, but for Waymo and others. But I don't think it's priced in. I do not believe the market is fully pricing in the opportunity in terms of autonomous and robotics for Tesla. And I think what we saw from Musk, that's a different Musk. That's a committed Musk. Look, leaders lead, and that's what Musk is doing.
The issue down at play then, if you believe the long-term valuation comes down to autonomous, most people do. They agree with you. You've got to understand whether it's a regulation issue or a tech issue. And if you look at Waymo, it doesn't look like a regulation issue for the likes of Waymo. Waymo's now doing 250,000 paid rides a week. A few years ago, that number was 10K. Dan, how much of a challenge is coming from Waymo?
Look, I mean, Waymo are $230,000 cars, and they're essentially in 4 cities. I mean, obviously, they'll expand. But I believe Tesla is going to go past Waymo 100 miles an hour in the left lane.
Now, I happen to agree with that comment. I just wanted to bring this up again from last goddamn fucking month. Tesla price target reduced to 315 from 550. Nothing at all to do with Tesla stock having halved, and everything to do with Waymo. At that point in time, last month, obviously, it wasn't clear that Tesla was going to go flying past Waymo at 100 miles an hour with autonomy.
In the next year. In other words, I believe Tesla, from a market share perspective, given scale and scope and what they could do across the U.S., I think Waymo will be a rounding error relative to what Tesla could do on autonomous.
Bro, did he just say rounding error? If you know, you know. And can confirm, I agree. Scale of Tesla's autonomy business will make Waymo look like a rounding error.
Clearly, Waymo's had the leader. But I don't view that as something that's static. I think Tesla has a huge opportunity ahead of it.
Without a doubt, that can change, Dan. But what are you looking at right now that's giving you that confidence? It's clearly not blind hope, at least it shouldn't be. What gives you that confidence in the moment? What do you see?
I mean, what I see is Austin's going to take off in June. I think you're going to have basically 15 to 20 cities in the next 6 to 9 months. And the scale, I mean, we're talking about a few 100,000 robotaxis into next year, and ultimately something that's going to approach in the millions. And I think when you look again to level 4 and you look at where they're heading, I think that's the new era of growth for Tesla. And that's why it was so important for Musk to sort of, make that 180, refocus on Tesla. And that's what he's done. And I think if I told you a month ago that we'd be talking about this, it would be a dream scenario. And I think that's what the stock's reflecting too, from those dark days that we saw, starting in the early parts of the Trump administration from Musk.
Ay. Now, I want to give some credit to Dan, at least in his defense. He mentioned numbers of potential Tesla robotaxis operating in the time frame. Of course, that was just directly from what Elon Musk himself had said. Tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, possibly a million plus. So this went to air not long before the massive price target increase, which followed the massive price target decrease last month. There was no mention of that in the new increase. Maybe I didn't see the full note. And if that's the case, I can understand why you'd massively increase your price target, but you shouldn't need Elon Musk to throw out some estimates of how many potential Tesla robotaxis will be on roads in the future for you to actually, in your own valuation model, have already made your best attempt to anticipate the number of Tesla robotaxis that will be operating in the future. I went over this recently. In my base case, which remains unchanged for some time, months, well before Dan's flip-flop up and down, base case had over 100,000 Tesla robotaxi in the entire fleet, end of 2026. My bull case gets into the millions within just a few years. I didn't need Elon Musk to tell me what he thought might happen because I'd already estimated. I haven't needed to make any changes since these estimates because I did my best to anticipate ahead of time. And it turns out, once again, that my estimates were very closely in line with Tesla's own estimates that have now since been disclosed. So surely, some of the rationale for this price target increase from Dan Ives, surely it's not, well, we were estimating 0 robo-taxis at the end of next year, but now that Elon Musk said there'll be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or more, we're going to use those assumptions, which is a little bit more than 0, which we were previously assuming, therefore price target massively increasing. So if we're under the delusion that Dan's job is actually to analyze and anticipate, then we'd go, why wouldn't Dan have already anticipated Tesla's robotaxi fleet scaling, have his own estimates? Why would he need to massively increase his price target only after Elon Musk says the obvious estimates that Tesla have themselves? Wouldn't he have just done that? But what if Dan's job isn't actually to be an analyst, but to appear in the media as many times as possible, covering the most popular stocks, e.g., like, I don't know, for example, Tesla, Nvidia, Palantir, just to throw some examples out there. What if his job instead is just to be everywhere, omnipresent, to bring business to Wedbush Securities, in which case, might explain a few things. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. If I, as a content creator, were following a similar strategy to Dan Ives as an analyst, rather than continually banging the drum on Tesla, sharing my thoughts and opinions only on Tesla, I would have been far more promiscuous. During the NFT craze, I would have gone crazy, launched a bunch of my own NFTs, made my first videos into an NFT. Hey, you can own the actual NFT of the very first video I published on this channel. Here, it'll cost you thousands of dollars of Ethereum. Every time there was a surge of retail investor interest in a particular stock, I'd start covering that as well. I'd split my time because after all, it gets pretty boring and repetitive saying the exact same shit about the exact same fucking company day in, day out for almost 6 years straight. But to me, my integrity is far more important than my reach. If I wanted more attention, I'd be running super clickbaity videos, the latest stock market crash, housing markets collapse, the Fed emergency. I'd also be buying little tiny pockets of a few shares here and there relative to my income, a fraction of a fraction, just so I can make a video. Hey, I just bought X dollars worth of this stock, so I could talk about it to get views on content because people want something original and fresh, as opposed to me saying, bruh, still looked around, can't find a better opportunity, risk adjusted and Tesla stock, still buying with every percent, motherfuckers, buy. So just remember, folks, the way that analysts earn an income is as salesmen, saleswomen, earning commissions for their firm by bringing in business. How'd you hear about us? Oh, I saw the guy in the pink shirt on television talking about Tesla. That's not to say that there aren't some actual analysts who do actual analysis, great research. They do exist. But doing and publishing deep research and analysis runs almost directly counter to maximizing your commissions as an analyst by being omnipresent and saying whatever you need to say, flip-flopping around as necessary to appear all over the media constantly. I'm not a hater. I'm just explaining the game. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.